Oh, now we're good. Okay, make a motion, we come out of executive session.
I will second that motion.
Discussion, all in favor? All right. All right.
Okay, based on our executive session, I make a motion that we, here it is, increase Lindsay's salary to $1, give her a $1 raise at her 6-month step increase, which was agreed upon when hired.
I second that motion.
Any discussion?
Just that, only discussion, I just want to make note for everybody that Lindsay's just really stepped up and doing a fantastic job, so I have no hesitation in approving this.
No.
All good? All right.
And you brought a flower.
That's Shirley's.
Oh. Trying to quick. Second issue is we had a meeting with the animal control officers. We had some questions on their mileage reports. They were submitted late, but they had some extenuating circumstances. So we approved to pay their mileage reports for January 2021 to 2022 with the advice of the treasurer.
January 2022 to June 2022.
We didn't agree to that because we don't agree to anything in executive session. Was that a motion?
Did I say I make a motion?
Nope, but
I made that motion. I should have
I'll
made that
second.
motion.
Good.
Did I have the times right? I'm going by this.
The years are wrong. It's 2022 to June of 2022. And then
Okay.
June 2022 to current. Yeah, she's got the second year. So she's got it right here.
All right.
Yeah, it's strong on top.
20, sorry. Does everybody understand that? Oh, there she is.
Well, I thought you were talking.
discussion.
Yeah, any discussion?
Don't.
All in favor? All right.
All right, sorry about that.
All right, moving on to item number 1. Special offers, Jim Thomas, GIS Solutions, zoning and shoreline zoning mapping.
Should I come forward?
You should.
Come on up.
Fortunately, we don't have our stuff
Oh,
up yet.
shit.
Right over there.
That's actually-
You can have a seat right there.
Thank you.
I'm not quite set up yet.
Hi.
Hi.
I guess a short statement. My name is Jim Thomas. A couple of months ago, a planning board member asked me if I would meet with the planning board to talk about methods to update the colorized hand-drawn zoning and shoreline zoning maps. I have a long history in working with this type of work, and so I met with the planning board, and based on, a couple weeks ago, and based on that, they asked me to submit the proposal that you probably have in front of you. So I guess to begin with, I'd certainly like to entertain any questions that you might have about the proposal. As you're contemplating, the work that I'll do will be GIS based. I will take the existing paper maps that you have and render digital versions of the map to coincide with the digital versions of the parcel maps that you have. You probably are aware that the tax maps that have been drawn for the town for the last 15 or 20 years are all digital in nature. The background, the basis of them is digital. So my proposal will be to add layers onto that digital data set so that you have again, a digital layer of your zoning polygons and lines, as well as a secondary layer of shoreline zoning digital information. Those types of things will make the process of code enforcement and planning decisions and appeals decisions a lot more easy and straightforward, where the result of this work will be that it'll be a lot easier to determine if a parcel or a location is in this zone versus that zone, which is sometimes difficult to interpret with a paper map like that. I think it's fair to say, from everything I understand. I also want you to know that I have been developing your tax map since 2004, so I'm familiar with the data, and I think that's why the call came to me.
Has the planning board approved the scope of work?
Yeah, look, we referred it to the selectmen, yes. We're quite satisfied with what Mr. Thomas is offering.
Have you had a chance to look at this, Brenda?
Yes.
And
I'm very excited.
you're very excited.
Yes.
A note in the proposal that I just wanted to share is that I see this as an iterative process. I won't be making final determinations on where the lines are. You know, what I propose to do is take a first pass at creating this data set, and then I suppose workshopping with Brenda informally, and then also with the planning board, perhaps in workshop, to make sure that everyone is in agreement that this is the best rendering of where we are with the old versus the new, basically. I anticipate that there'll be, I use the term feedback from the public about where some of the lines are drawn, and that's part of the process, I think. So I will produce a map. The planning process will interpret it and decide where things need to be adjusted further. And I'll do another draft until this process is done. I really don't think it'll take a great deal of time, as I've noted here in the proposal. It's the kind of work that I've done a lot of this kind of work. It looks like the work is pretty straightforward. It's based on my reading of the zoning laws and a fractional reading of the shoreline zoning ordinance as well.
What is the time frame for when you propose to do this versus when we need this?
I said informally that I'd have a first rough draft to present a month after we make an agreement. And then from there, it depends on how, I know the planning board meets every other week, and there'll be other issues that they may not be able to attend to all of these things, but working with staff and meeting with the planning board, month or two, or probably at least a couple of months, let's say, but pretty quickly, I anticipate. My end will be pretty quick.
Where's this paid from?
That's
That's
the question.
Yeah. You guys have funding for this, the planning board, or the?
I don't know that we do. I don't know that we
There
do.
was a map one.
Could be considered a capital expense? It's not granted,
Isn't there a map fund?
concrete
Yeah, you know, map fund is
There
there.
should be a map
In
fund,
the
if I
warrant,
remember
there is.
correctly.
There's a map fund in the warrant.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, if I remember correctly. Don't hold me, check with Lynn,
Who was in charge of the budget committee last year?
who was in
Who was
charge.
the chair of the budget committee?
Chair last year
Yeah.
was Morris, Vicky's this year, and she's vice chair.
Or, okay.
But Brad, we were all,
Yeah, you guys are all, so if you guys says there's,
You got money in your account to approve.
Yeah.
Okay.
One article for that.
all right,
Yeah.
we'll just confirm everything. and-
yeah, check with Jeanette, but I'm pretty sure there's
Yeah,
no.
there is.
Yeah, pending.
Confirmation.
Now, when you say the town will bear all printing costs, what could that be?
I use fillers in Scarborough typically.
Yep.
For printing maps, and sheets the size that we're talking about are $3 or $4 a sheet.
Yep.
So,
So you're talking for the town hall to put
yeah,
it
I'm
here?
talking about,
Yeah, to replace stuff and,
yes,
you know,
yes, sir.
update things.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Printing the cost of printing is always an unknown to me, and so, but we're talking about a small set of maps to be printed typically. It will also be, this is also important to understand that the map will also be available electronically in PDF version, so if anybody wants a copy of it, they can take it down and have it printed themselves. I mean, a citizen or a vendor or business.
So I'll make a motion to accept pending Fun.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Cool. All in favor?
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, me too. So, no, I said it first.
Thank you, Jim.
You did. Wait for Tom. Wait for Tom to get back. We can slowly move on. Item 2, hearing of delegations. Michelle, I'd like to wait for Tommy, but
Sure.
I don't know if you want to get up or whatever.
Am I close enough? Hopefully I'm loud enough.
No pressure, Tom, no pressure. Maybe a bit.
I think I was gonna keep on going.
Well,
Wow.
All right, so item 2, we'll let Michelle, you have the.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to kind of bring up what happened with the food drive for the school and the town of Lyman on voting day. I'm sure everyone probably read all the chains or emails that went through. The biggest thing that this is not criticizing, this is not bickering, this is requesting there's a protocol and massive communication when things like this happen, because some of the stuff that was said in the emails that the school was forwarded, it really didn't take into consideration the school's position. And this is really truly seeing both sides of the coin. I get both sides. Yes, it helped Alfred, but I think what was really missing is what the program at the school was about. I mean, are you gentlemen and ladies aware of the backpack program at the school? And are you aware of what their donations were for, that the school was collecting for? It was very specific for 7 families. This was
No, I
not a fundraiser for, this was not like a kids getting food together for a food bank. The school on their own, they used to, I guess, even do the tree with this town hall separated from that long ago, for I don't know what reasons. Our general assistance manager has never been in touch with the school that I know of, but then telling the school, oh, well, reach out to general assistance. This was a big deal. This happened on Wednesday. The food had to be dispersed this past Monday. The school literally had 4 days to scramble to get food together for 7 families, or they were gonna have nothing. And to send emails saying, the kids should feel good, they helped the community. These are families that don't go to food banks or can't. There's privacy reasons that the school does it and they don't go to food banks. It's, what else was it, for in the future, let's coordinate. They can't always do that, and if they didn't coordinate before, why, all of a sudden, oh, that's the problem. There was no reach out to help them solve it. They offered them $73. That doesn't buy milk and eggs for a family. It's insane what food costs right now. So I just found a lack of response, and even finding out why it was so important to the school and what was happening. And seriously, like the school was so upset thinking, oh my gosh, the town's gonna be mad at us. It wasn't about being mad, but there should have been a better effort to help the school out. And then here it is, this all comes to light. The school had put up flyers, they put it on Facebook, there was flyers in the kids' bags coming home from school. I had one. I never once saw a flyer from the town, never saw an advertisement. Apparently it's been going on since 2012. I can honestly tell you, I think I saw one food drive where there was a truck over there, never clear who was running it. And then there was one time here we had an election where I was working at, and one person came with a bag of food, and we didn't even know why she was bringing it. It's not a hugely advertised thing. And it goes to Alfred, and it's not that Alfred has a food bank, it's the brothers, actually. And so we're dependent on another town to help our community. And there's just a lot of like missing parts and like just no protocol, no, they should have reached out to you guys for a response to the school versus the employees taking charge and answering the way they did. Because to me, some of the stuff they said was disrespectful of what I left the school with. And then on top of the open wound, the next day, a blast goes out via email that the town is still doing food fundraising till the 30th. Well, as the school is trying to scramble in to get their food, it's like, could you wait a day or two for them to make up for what they lost? Because, oh, well, we didn't collect as much food as we normally do. Well, the school just lost everything they just collected. You know, and so I just, again, I thought that there does need to be better communication, and it's not bickering, it's communication that I think was done poorly. And I feel really bad for the school, and I don't think anyone's level. And I get the town hall, I mean, it just felt like they were being defensive in their responses versus let's try to help the school write this. And let's be very aware that we don't piggyback on someone else's food drive. The sign was literally bigger than that TV that the school was holding the fundraiser for food. And they're literally, the one for the town was that big on a chair. And all it said was, thanks for giving. You couldn't tell unless it was in tiny print who it was for. So, you know, respectfully, they want the food drive happen here if we're voting at the town, at the school should have first dibs on their own place if they're doing a food drive. You know, it's like, it'd be like me pulling in here, if you're holding a food drive, I'm gonna pop my trunk, I wanna do it for the local, other local, that's just not right. Someone should have manned the other table if that's what was happening and asked, you know, is this for the school or is this for the town? It would have been, Miss Pellerin was on site till 7 or 8 that night. Someone could have talked to her then, and no one did. And that's all I have to kind of say.
Well, thank you, and sorry that happened. I really have no connection with the food drive in any way, and so I apologize for that. But you're right, you know, we're gonna have to do something and coordinate something a little bit better.
I think a nice, just that, you know, I don't think Miss Pellerin has probably heard, sorry. She's poor lady, I mean, they just went through the ringer getting that together. I mean, luckily everyone came through and they had it and got it out in time. But, you know, instead of being defensive, which was the response that went out to her, they should have been like, oh my gosh, you know, because again, it wasn't about, the real information wasn't understood what that program was for.
Thank you.
It was a suggestion, if someone could talk to general assistants about talking to the school, about coordinating, if that's the route the town wants to go, or make a policy of how it's gonna go in the future, let the school run their thing, or understand what they're doing it for. Just
Yeah,
have a
some better
policy.
communication all the way
Yeah,
around.
some kind of policy in place so it can be referred to.
Can we throw that on the agenda somewhere down the?
I think that's
down the road
great.
Prior to,
Didn't do anything around Christmas?
so that we can,
They usually, because that's just it, I mean, everything that the comment was, well, next time they wanna piggyback on our food drive, it's like they have one every year. They weren't piggybacking anything. So I'm sure Ms. Pellerin or someone from the school is glad to come and coordinate or talk about what they're doing. Their backpack program runs year round, and I'm sure they fully understands what that is. So it's for the kids on the weekends, and stuff like that. So it's very specific, and again, sometimes there's other confidential reasons they can't come to town for some of these families.
Well, a lot of times it's families too that won't go to the food bank, and it's families that the school is coordinating specifically with, that they almost, I hate to say beg, because that's a strong word, but really have to convince them to accept this level of assistance, because people are proud, so.
But they see what's happening with the kids.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that was what broke my heart, which made me a little cranky, so forgive if I was cranky in my emails, but the kids mean a lot to me.
It's all
And they
there
do
for
all of us.
it's all there for the right reason. We just, all the way around
Yeah.
by everybody. So we just gotta make sure we communicate and everybody can benefit. Okay,
Thank you.
sure. All right.
Yep.
Now let's go.
All right, moving on to item B, Old Kennebunk Road Gate. Tony?
Hi,
Come on up, Tony.
how are you? I'm Tony Palminteri. I'm the chair of the Alfred Board of Selectmen, and we got your letter last week that said you were gonna take the gate down and leave it down. And I just wanted to take a few minutes of your time to give you some history and perspective, because I'm intimately involved with it. I used to live on the old Kennebunk Road, the second to last place before it turned into nowhere. And I moved there from there 25 years ago, but I lived there for 17 years. And at that particular time, there was one house past me, and then the road was just a trail. They didn't even plow it in the winter. They plowed 100 feet past the house and stopped. And then Charlie Bassett began to sell off house lots, 11-acre lots, 10 stayed in tree growth, one for the house and the lawn. And that began to grow a little bit. Alfred made some improvements to the road. It's still a cow path. And as the road was improved and people began to utilize it more and more, and it was open 12 months of the year, because if you remember, when you didn't plow, it was closed for 7 or 8 months of the year, the trash began. And in 2010, town of Lyman, the town of Alfred, and the U.S. Forest Service got together, got volunteers, spent money and time, hired wheelers from John Lord and Morris, and we took 18 tons of trash off Lyman land and Forest Service land. It wasn't Alfred land. We were merely the guardian at the gate, but it was Alfred. It was Lyman land and Forest Service land, and we had a system in place. All the landowners got a key, and it worked beautifully for 12 years. They knew if they forgot their key, they could get another one at town hall, and we never ever had a problem. So we were kind of surprised when we saw that you want to remove the gate. The Forest Service, and I have an email which I'll share with you, is from the U.S. Forest Service. They are very distressed. And one of the reasons they're distressed is that in addition to the trash, and I worked on that, I literally that day picked up a plastic garbage bag, didn't realize it had glass, took my thigh in half and ended up at Maine Medical Center. So I'm really involved with cleaning up the trash in the forest. And the thing that we would find everything, household waste, demolition waste, tires, every type of liquid imaginable, cars, boats. I mean, it was tires. And if you leave that gate down, it's just going to happen again. And I realized that you had one landowner who had a temper tantrum and didn't like the fact that the gate was a problem. But in 12 years, the system's worked. That's the first episode we personally have ever heard of. I don't know if you've had other episodes, but we never had an episode with anybody complaining, and it's kept the land clean. And I would just hope that you would reconsider leaving the gate up. And I'd be glad to answer any questions for you. Here's an email from the Forest Service that you can.
I think we got that.
Oh, you did? Okay, John Janelle, yeah. I mean, the other thing that they would do is people would go in there and cut firewood. Now, they're cutting on Lyman landowners' lands who don't live there and have no way of knowing, and they were cutting it on U.S. Forest Service land. Now, wouldn't happen on a West Road because somebody would see somebody's on somebody's land, but down there, they don't see anything.
Right.
So, obviously, it's your land, and you can do with it as you so choose. But I thought it would help, since I don't remember any of you being down there at the time or being involved with it, if it would give you some perspective or context. Morris knows.
This is one time I wish John was here. I know since I've been on the board, the 6 years, this is like,
And every year.
it's an every year thing. It's constantly an every year thing. It's the hunters wanting.
Well, we used to open it a week before hunting season began, and we would close it down a week after hunting season ended. And that would give guys a chance to scout, put up a deer stand, whatever.
And when you say we,
The town,
you or us?
us. The gate's on our end. We took care of the gate on our end. Well, what happened was, about 5 or 6 years ago, the attorney said, this gate is not on Alfred's land. Why is Alfred doing anything with it? We said, well, we're trying to be a nice guy and help Lyman out. They said, we really shouldn't do that. We have a really skilled municipal attorney, Leah Ration. She puts on seminars for the state. And she said, you really shouldn't do that. So we said to Lyman here, just want to hear the keys. We kept the key at Alfred Fire and Rescue in the event that there was a forest fire or something like that. And yeah, I mean, and that was that. I mean, occasionally people complained, but the greater good was that you didn't get trash. There's already stuff, since the gate's been down, there's already stuff getting dumped.
Really?
Yeah.
Refresh my memory with Brad Moore. Did he not say that Lyman did not own that land?
That the road was discontinued.
No, the land is in Lyman.
It's in Lyman, but the town of Lyman does not own that land.
Right.
That's why the decision was made to take down the gates, because the town of Lyman owns the gates, but not the land. So we looked at it as, why are we taking the legal responsibility for that and not the landowners?
I think it's an abandoned road, so it's still under the authority of the town of Lyman, even though it's not in use. You might want to check with your attorney.
That's
because-
what we had from the attorney, right?
Yeah, he said Lyman has no responsibility to maintain the gate.
Right, you have no responsibility to maintain the gate, but you have authority over an abandoned road.
He didn't get into that discussion. but
Well, that's, yeah,
That's, I'd like to know that.
Do we have authority?
Do we have authority over that road? And with authority comes responsibility.
Well, and that's fine, but I know the issue where state police got involved said the property wasn't posted, that's why state police can't do anything about it. So I don't know if, I know the Forest Service probably won't post their land, I don't know if it would be beneficial if they put out something like no dumping, loitering, whatever. It's, when we tried to put it on the state police said they couldn't do anything for that legality.
they won't help with that at all.
Yeah.
On Brackett Hill Road in Alfred, we had to shut off both ends of it with gates because there's about a 2-mile section that Bob Libby owns all the timberland in there. And it's a pretty good road going through. And the trash was so bad that John Ward, our road commissioner, was going up in the good weather once every 3 weeks and filling up his one ton. Just a nightmare. So we just put up gates at each end. That's all we just put up gates at each end. And that's the only way to stop it. And obviously, I'm not telling you guys what to do, but you're just gonna invite a nightmare of trash.
We just had an issue though, that people were just cutting the locks off, like, gate or no gate, people were going up there, right? I mean, that's how this started.
Yeah, I don't know how many, I don't remember,
And that's how the key issue became an issue.
Yeah,
Right.
it started with the lock got cut with bolt cutters, then the gate got torn
sounds like the
down.
guy that trashed it with the front end loader or whatever.
I know the Lyman end, the entire hasp has been cut off with a cutoff saw, including taking Matt's, our fire chief's knockbox is gone
Really? Knox spot's gone also?
on both ends. So there is no way to lock the Lyman end gate because the top of the gate is flush with the top of the post. So you can't even put a chain around it. Somebody has cut that off and it is non-lockable.
What I was gonna say about the trash dumped on that road, when we would call the state police or the sheriff's department, they wouldn't help us.
No.
They're too busy to chase that stuff down. We had a guy that literally dumped a boat on a trailer filled with household trash. We knew everything about this guy. He lived in Sanford. His telephone number, what he bought his girlfriend for Valentine's Day. I mean, it had everything, bags of mail, and we tried to do something, got absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. So I realize it's a pain in the neck, but I think the pain in the neck is worth it based on what you're going to invite. And that's just an opinion of someone who's familiar with it, and obviously it's your bailiwick, so you can do what you want, and it's not Alfred, it's not Alfred land, it's Lyman Land and Forest Service. We're just trying to give you a heads up.
Yeah, Brian, you had something in the first.
After we put the gates up,
Oh,
after we put the gates up, we went how many years, Tony, with no trouble at all?
Yeah, we really did, we went a
We
long
went
time.
a
without
long
trouble.
time with no trouble with those gates being up.
But now you're saying already there's trash back in there.
Oh, yeah, now that the gate's down, oh,
There
sure.
is on the Lyman end, I know that.
Yeah, there is on the Alfred then too. What you could do is give the landowners a key that says non-duplicatable. Because if it's a real legitimate one, like from Springville Hardware, no place will duplicate it. And, put up a game camera to see who's trashing it, but
Yeah.
you're just and I realize it's a pain in the neck, like I said, but you're inviting a trash nightmare.
We went for years without any trouble at
Right,
all.
we did. Right, so maybe it was a flurry of activity and maybe it'll subside, but,
We'll do that.
One of the tough parts, Tony, that we have is that, let's assume you're a landowner, you have a key. You unlock the gate, you go in, you do what you wanna do for the day, you leave, but you don't lock the gate. Now the gate's wide open. Now it's open season, anybody go in there.
Yep.
Now who's gonna patrol and keep going by there to lock the gate? That becomes an issue. Now it becomes a responsibility
Yep.
that we're having to take
Well,
on.
Tom Plummer lives right there. You know Tom Plummer?
No.
He lives in the house that about 10 feet before the gate.
Oh, on the right-hand side?
Yeah, I mean, I could ask Tom, if the gate's open at night, will you go shut it? He'd shut it.
The one on our end is a bad one though, because it's way in there in the dead end.
Oh, the
No
building.
houses out there, but
Right.
it's on
Right.
pitch black.
Yep.
So,
people going in on that.
and that's the one that the top has been cut off. You
Yep.
can't lock it. They didn't destroy it, they just took.
We're
the
blaming
top.
on Sanford people. What do you think? That's the best idea?
We're on YouTube.
What?
I'm for having the gates up.
Yeah.
I guess the problem that I have is that when a bunch of keys get distributed around, to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, so to
Right.
speak, that wants to go in there, because it's public land, town land, now there's all kinds of keys circulated, and who is responsible to close the gate? They just don't.
Well, Brad, let me correct you. We're being told by town council that it's not town land. So if we can get a clarification on what our authority versus responsibility is.
We own land in there though.
Right.
I'm
The road's
I
not.
don't think we do, but I have to check. We own land off of Old Kennybunk Road. It's a landlocked parcel, but it's
You
before
were-
the gates.
The town of Lyman originally owned the road,
Right.
and then you subsequently abandoned the road.
And we didn't,
That doesn't mean you no longer own the road. It just means you no longer treat it as a road. You didn't give it to the abutting landowners. You maintained ownership of it. You just don't treat it as a road anymore. That's my understanding.
Did our attorney say that if it's abandoned, that the property line now becomes a center line of road?
Right, no, I bet not.
I don't think he got into the property ownership of it, because it was more of like, what's our responsibility over the gates? So I think like what Dave's saying, we have to clarify, what's our authority, who owns the road, I guess.
have you gentlemen taken time to look at the road manual and read what it says about that?
According to the statutory, pre-1935.
That's right.
Pre-1935, what would happen when a road was abandoned is the actual property would revert back to the owners. After 1935, they changed that, so it does not revert back to the
Right.
owners. Because
Because if you ever needed to use it again, say somebody wanted to put in a subdivision on private land half a mile down.
there's a whole 16-page
Right.
thing on abandonment.
So the town would still own the road.
Do you want me to send it
Right.
to you? I'll send it to Lindsay, but it's pretty specific because
Yeah.
you still would have some liability in there. There's different ways to do it, to abandon it, to not have liability.
Have you been involved in this, Brendan? Should you be involved in this? Is your code enforcement?
I doubt it. I'll look, but I doubt it.
Between you and Lindsay. We got to settle this.
MMA
This is like the
might be-
gift now that keeps on giving.
Right.
So with that,
I mean,
if the gate was taken down and a landowner owned both sides of that road, could they gate it off?
No, not at the town.
Not at the town.
Not at the state kept a right away process.
Right. Because
The
then
state
he'd be,
statute out there saying that, I thought it was later than that, than 35. I thought it was a 30-year time frame in the, and it started in 76. But there should have been a right of way kept across that road when the term was abandoned. We went to court, we went to a town meeting vote. Our town attorney told us it was abandoned, right? He said, but to clean up the thing, you need to take it to a town meeting vote, have it voted that it was abandoned, and therefore it completes the process. But we did that. Well, some of the people up in there got upset that we didn't follow procedure, we didn't. We didn't notify the abutters before the vote was taken at town meeting, and therefore the vote was null and void.
but now they're glad that we do it because it protects their land. And then we had a list, I
Was
don't
there
know, 8 or 9
restaurants
butters, landowners, and they each had a key. And we never, I'm sorry that you've had some problems, we never had a problem. Joyce Wood was our assistant for 100 years, and we just never had a problem. So,
We had a problem up till last year, right?
we did, yeah, oh, is that, no,
in the
It's
last
been
year,
a few
right?
years just
Would you
having
like
to deal with the key,
Yeah.
but
Just let us know what you're gonna do, and if we can help, we'd be glad to, and we would be glad to put a key at the fire and rescue building, which is manned 24/7. So if somebody forgot their key, they didn't have to have a temper tantrum and trash it with their vehicle, and, they could get a key. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
You're welcome, have a nice night.
Nice seeing you.
You too, take care.
that just came back up. All right. We're still on item 2. We'll go to,
Good night, yeah, thank you.
I guess, some public input. Anybody in the audience want to address the board? Brian?
I see, further down the list is appointments for the ordinance review committee. I didn't see any postings that you guys are looking for anyone for the ordinance review committee.
Is it required? to be posted? These are,
It's Jay.
Oh,
Jay.
there's a, application online, so really anybody, they can apply for whatever committee they want. I can't,
Well, the last time, I don't know if you guys did it as a courtesy, but the last time when people resigned or people didn't come in, you re-put it out to the people who applied and didn't get selected to see if they still wanted to apply.
I mean, I could speak to that because I know the last time we talked about this, there was so much confusion on who resigned, who applied, who's actually on the committee. We went back and forth on it a lot. So, my thought process was, let's just start over and try to clean this up and figure it out. So I did reach out to you and a couple other people asking, if you're interested in reapplying. That was my take on it, but that's just
And we had applications and we voted on them, didn't we?
Yeah, and also because, when I look through this stuff, I'm looking through old files, I'm looking through meeting minutes, I'm just trying to figure out before my time what happened, and it was very confusing. So, for me, I found multiple applications, and I said, here's what we got, what do you guys wanna do? We basically just reached out to everyone and assumed that we didn't have an ordinance review committee at all at that point.
Excuse me, taking care of.
Trust,
Yeah, okay.
I've talked to 2 members of the previous board, right? That were confused that they didn't realize they weren't still on the committee. Whether they weren't contacted about, they had to reapply of what the story was. And I know they both have an interest in being on the committee. One is George Cheney, the other one's Tree Cousin. And they were good members of the committee.
And the oath sheets have expiration dates on them, so
I'm not saying they didn't, I'm just saying that, they just,
I don't
they
know.
slipped by, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think we have a standard procedure of, reaching out to people and asking them to apply, so, that's something down the road, we could always kind of like clarify procedural methods.
So the way I understand this, Leo resigned. Peggy went to a meeting, they said we have room for an alternate.
Well, wait, we discussed it at a meeting the other night. There's nothing in the charter that gives us the number of people we have to have, or having any alternatives. There's no set figure, Tom.
That was
No.
up to the select board to choose how many they wanted on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not listed in the charter. That's a total discretionary up to you gentlemen.
That was on the committee, right, really, more than anything?
I thought we had talked about it, we said it would need to be an odd number, we said either 5 or 7. I think we agreed on
We got 5 right now.
one of those numbers. Either 5 or 7.
I'm pretty sure you're on 5.
I think it's 5.
You got 5 right
Okay.
now.
And I remember way back when Leo had made, Thibodeau, he had made mention that he was on the committee, but hadn't met in like forever, and
Yeah, well, that's
he didn't know
true.
if he was still a member or not, and So-
I think Polly told him it expired.
but he had put his paperwork in.
Yeah.
He had refreshed that,
but now he's resigned.
So now he's resigned,
So
so.
with Leo, we're still 5.
Yes, right, Rusty, right.
I don't know.
Is that, yeah,
All right, so, well, we got into more discussion than we normally do, but that was public input, so. We'll get into that later on.
yeah, and I guess,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, yep, I'm with you.
So I just want to ask the board again to once again consider having an IT committee that can be put together.
It's in the new charter, right?
There, I think there is a spot for it.
Yeah, there's a spot for it. Just because like I wanted to attend the ORC meeting on Thursday, but I couldn't, so I emailed Lindsay in the morning to say, is this gonna be recorded? And she said it wasn't. And so I just think if we had an IT committee that somehow they're vetted so that they're trusted, they learn how to run it, they could be tapped, you know, for, okay, we have a planning board meeting. Which one of you on this committee is available to come in and run their meeting? Which one of you is available to come in and run the ORC? You know, that kind of thing. It doesn't put it all on one person, and it's very helpful. I think that the town members are enjoying seeing the meetings on YouTube and being a part of it that way. And for each committee that doesn't have that option, it just hurts the town, I think.
I did talk to Don, because I tried to connect with him and get him the laptop, and then I made a mistake and forgot to put it out here, but then he said the ordinance review committee did not want to record their meeting. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but
I heard they do want to.
They do want to, and I believe that Mike Raincourt,
Oh,
he
yes,
has your contact information because he would very much like to.
Oh, he totally did.
And he sounds like he's capable.
Yeah, he does IT for me.
So I think he'll step up to the plate.
But I think the biggest thing, like she's
I
saying,
didn't mean to
is
get back into the discussion, I just wanted to throw that out there, so.
off of Amber's, like even if Mike can do it, I can do it, depending who's on committees. If he's out sick or I'm out sick, it'd be nice to have cross coverage. You know, that you had a committee that could cross cover for each other, or it's not dependent on, as people come in and out of boards. You know, you're not always gonna have those same people that can run it on the boards. So you should have a tiny committee that is vetted and can do it. You know, because I do think people message me, is this on? I'm like, I don't know. If I'm not doing it, I don't always know. So I think that's a good idea. But it is, there's like Amber, when it was the laptop, she could pinch hit for me after going through it a few times with her, but you've never seen the back room. You can't go in the back room, she can't go in the back room, she can't go in the back room. So.
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to nailed it, that's a lot of numbers. The Maine Municipal Employee Health Trust, they're talking about their increases. That's a lot of numbers. Let's move on to item 3, minutes, review and approve minutes for 11/7/2022.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right. All right, item 4, payroll warrant number 23 in the amount of $25,514.20.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor? Next is accounts payable warrant number 24 for year end 2023 in the amount of $146,923.58.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor? Item number 5. Mowing contract, put out to bid.
I've started a full scope of work on that I'll have completed for you next meeting. Sorry, I tried this meeting,
A for effort.
slacker.
Can't believe you. So much mowing to be done
I
right
had
now.
so much, such little time.
Must have just mowed the field.
Really? It's nice? Does it really?
All the lines.
Nice.
All
That's
right.
great work.
I'm not sure I see.
All right.
Should be, let's see, okay. Being data contract update extension, table from our last meeting,
Can I make a comment?
please.
So the IT committee, where some of the responsibilities have anything to do with something like this, or would they just be with audio visual?
I mean, that would be up to you guys what you want done.
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
you have some.
I thought that an IT committee would be a good idea to look at the whole town, the IT of the whole town, of what we're trying to get accomplished.
You
And
have a lot of
have,
mega nerds in town, man.
I'm sorry, I'm
You
sorry.
have a lot of nerds in town that were like, huh.
Yeah,
It could be whatever you wanted it to be, whatever you set as the predicate for the IT committee. That's how you.
well,
I'll
I
leave it
just,
there.
I think that you're right, that there's a lot of people that actually, know the stuff. And, I don't wanna put, we're extending a contract that I know nothing about. That's all. I mean, maybe you guys have the experience, I don't.
The extension is a little bit, the word extension is a little bit misleading. I talked to Jeanette today, and the way this was set up, it was a calendar year versus a fiscal year. They're trying to right the ship and have this as fiscal year. So this ends January 1st or so.
Yeah.
So they're looking to extend it to June or to our fiscal year. That's the only reason.
So that would make sense.
It makes perfect
And
sense.
in that time, maybe we do some sort of IT committee to deal with it from there.
Right,
Moving
because the new
forward.
charter calls for one anyway, so then that committee theoretically could be involved in whatever
Okay.
is in the next fiscal year.
And there may be duties that they can take on, posting or whatever, or doing
Right.
things when they're vetted and, it's people you're trusting that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because you can take it down in a click if you don't, so, yeah. But that is, you can have people doing things for you that are vetted and know what they're doing. Like websites, it's not that hard, but there are some intricacies, you do need to have training.
So this extension, does it have dollar value?
Well, technically already, the way
It's all
genetics
accounted
would be,
for.
yeah, we've already.
Okay,
Already
bought
approved it.
it. We bought
okay,
it
so it's
from
just a
the
time
service
frame.
side, Yeah.
I have no issues with that.
At that point.
I don't know if I want to. They want to commit to a renewal of minimum of 3 years.
So that's not what we just said.
I
I think it was
understand.
already in the other
Well,
one, this is
so-
just fixing it.
When he writes the extension, it's just basically puts a note in there that 60 days prior to the end of the fiscal year, there'll be a discussion on renewing that contract. So it's not, he's not saying it's gonna renew for 3 years after that. He's more or less saying to have a discussion on it.
They won't sign it.
I don't know, we can do. I didn't.
I mean, I talked to Jeanette, she says it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Get it, trying to get things in line.
here.
yeah, it's so that we're, I think in terms of looking at budgeting too, because
Yeah,
you know, she was having, I don't know what she did on her end, but yeah, she wanted it to be on a fiscal year instead of a calendar year.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then, you know, I was reading it today, it just says, you know, 60 days before June 30th or whatever, there would be a discussion of, and it doesn't have to be a 3-year contract, you can come back and say do a 1-year contract.
So what if we have this committee and they wanna put it out to bid? How does that work with overlap on time?
Well, you can extend a contract without going out to bid.
Understood?
Yeah.
I'm saying if the IT committee wanted to put an RFP together to go out to bid, what would the time frame be like? If he's all set until June, then it would be after June.
They could set that parameter
And
in
we
the
wouldn't
RFP.
we technically
Yeah.
wouldn't have an IT guy, or he'd be an IT guy by the hour until a contract was awarded.
I think depending on timing, right, you can put that out to bid before and to be ready to
Yeah,
go
let's start.
July 1.
I think if you have an IT committee looking at it, they can already preface before even those 60 days, they know what they want to see in the contract and what services they feel they can take over or not. And that's the thing, again, to have you guys approve as well. That could be done as well. It could be done. But a professional computer person is not going to leave you hanging because they don't have a contract with you.
When he already has an hourly rate.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So you still would have services if they were needed, if you wanted to put it out to bid.
So then there's no reason not to extend it.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Well, it was till June 30th. So is that a motion?
you make a motion.
That's a motion.
To extend it to June 30th.
June.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
You're not pushing that one off till next meeting. Oh, God, is this the,
So the only reason I put this on here, I was waiting for Shelley on the franchise agreement update, number C, letter C. Shelley said she'd get back to me, she hasn't yet. But now we have, we talked about doing a franchise ordinance, and so our charter changes the way we do that. I think you might want to put this out to the ordinance review committee and let them, I have the draft that Tony gave us. So if you guys want to put that out to the ordinance review committee, we can do that, or if you want to carry on the torch, we can do that as well.
No, I think we put it out to
Yep.
ORC.
Off your plate, right?
Yep.
We need to make a
I
motion
was
to
gonna
do
say
that.
we-
That is my motion.
Oh, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, discussion, favor? All right, moving on. Item C6, road commissioner purchasing PVC for fire hydrant.
So first and foremost on my report is going to be the success of Oscar Littlefield Road is paved.
yay,
Yes.
I drove by there the other day, saw it, nice.
Same. And the end of Hamilton Road.
So that's- Second of all of South Waterboro Road, the shoulders have finally been backed up. So that is all done by DOT.
Nice.
Now when it comes to the hydrant, Matt and I have been talking with Troy Dare, who is a manager and technician of rural fire protection program. And he puts together grant money for rural dequalifier soon. So what we can do, what he can do for us is he could get us a grant appropriated to take care of the labor of installing a hydrant. And all we would have to do is purchase the hard goods for it. We have a place located on Fry's Bridge Road that Matt's worked on, that I believe we're close to having it ready to go. But what I'd like to do is we'd like to purchase the parts because PVC is going up through the roof. So I have, I've gotten 3 different quotes, 2 of which are no good because they can't get Schedule 80 anymore. So I have found a supplier that can give us the parts that we need. And we'd like to ask the board if you'll release $4,000 out of the hydrant account so that I can go purchase all the parts for the springtime and get them at today's prices and have them locked in. And we'll store the pipe.
I'll make that motion.
All day long. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Any other questions?
Man, Schedule 80 is that scarce, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah. Driven by fuel.
Next is the Parks and Recs report. Volleyball every Tuesday, Lyman Elementary School. Tree lighting is December 3rd, 5:30. Ice rink will be open December 11th. Chad
No,
Norton.
they're gonna set it up on the 11th of the fire station.
Yeah, right.
They're not opening.
Yeah.
Hey, boy.
When it's cold.
When it
Well,
is
that's
cold,
pushing
when it is cold enough. it will
What's
be
heating,
open.
what's heating?
What insight do they have that it's gonna be that cold to freeze? So we still need the field level. Did we agree to that for the rink?
It's all done.
Yep, sorry.
Finished it.
Nice.
That was all that today.
All ready to go.
It says the Boy Scouts have the new bouncy toys that will be installed at the library. They'll do that in the spring. Next meeting will be on December 14th. C, Kennebunk Pond Beach Committee.
Not much to report, but we had a great meeting with with David Maines, the landscape architect, and the Cape Pond committee, along with Brad. Brad was there. And we met with the gate provider. We went over options, the gate for the parking lot, a few other things with the design of it. And full ahead. That's all I have.
Say David Maines.
Out of Cape Pond.
All right, treasury expense summary report. Item 7, new business, snowplow contract needs to go up to bid soon.
Could I throw
Oh, I'm sorry, Dick.
I'm not on the agenda, but if I could just throw something out for you to consider, or give me direction, whichever works. The fee schedule that I'm working with is maybe frustrating, I guess. It's based entirely on square footage. So a building is 40 cents per square foot, a foundation, I think, is 15, accessory buildings are 20. The problem is, if somebody comes in and they're doing major renovations, they're changing out windows, they're putting in a new bathroom, they're doing any number of things, there's no way to charge them. I mean, you have a $40 minimum, but that's not enough to cover renovations like that. I'm going to be going out there probably 2-3 times. So I was wondering if I could come with a proposal. Julie printed off some of the fee schedules that other towns are using, similar to Lyman. And she and I were gonna kind of put our heads together and come up with a proposal. Is that something that I can go ahead and do? Are you interested in that?
I think so.
I would say yes.
I am.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just feel like, my efforts, not entirely, but should be user fees funded rather than taxation. Really, it's the user that should be paying for a lot of my office. They're never gonna pay for all of it. But- And I would just like to see, I mean, I did a little comparison to see what it would be. I just don't know how to charge for something like that, just plain renovations, other than the $40.
Yeah.
So I can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yay, thank you.
Absolutely. Good thinking.
Thank you.
But the building department should have a letter in here.
Do you guys, I mean, if you wanna keep it ongoing, but it's not, it's not like, these don't always come up every meeting.
I just put them as placeholders, and if they come, we come, if they don't, they're there.
Oh, cause I'm running out of some space.
So we go to 2 pages.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
We can get it back this one, what we do.
Oh, we got others in adjourn.
I didn't even look to
Well, it's
the back.
two-sided, that's okay.
Could you just do reports and then list all of our policies?
All right, snow plowing.
I was told we should probably go out to bid on this pretty soon. The contract expires in April 2023, but obviously prices are increasing on everything, so might want to start looking in that. I think Brad, you were looking in.
Yeah, it's half written now,
Okay.
The,
the new one, the new
RFP.
RFP.
Cool.
I would like to see, and based on a few other towns that I've talked to, I would like to see this snow plowing contract go out for a 5-year bid with room for 1 extension. The reason being is more people are getting out of this municipal plowing, and I think it's gonna be harder to find contractors as they slowly leave the business. So I think some of these other towns, I know Waterboro just did it, are doing that to lock somebody in so have a safety net for a while. That doesn't mean somebody won't go out of business or whatever it happens to be, but it gives somebody an opportunity to say, wow, I'm gonna make X amount over 5 years. And at least it gives us a little bit of a cushion, instead of having to worry about, geez, are you gonna be able to bid it? Is somebody else gonna be able to bid it? And so I'd like to see it at 5, but your call as well.
Brad, is that something that you feel would be ready for us to look at next meeting and approve to get it out?
Sure.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Oh, I'm good with it, as long as you can do
that's
As
great.
long as Lindsay can type it.
You think a week already?
it. You can read his writing. Back at ya.
It'll be coffee time with Lindsay.
Okay.
One of the rates.
Yeah.
All right,
No, wait, I'm sorry.
this is for duct cleaning. We've got Haley's Metal Shop.
And there's actually 2 quotes from the other guy, because he did one quote with a disinfectant, like a hydroelectric static.
Electrostatic.
Yeah, electrostatic, and they did one without it. So 2 different, you'll see 2 different quotes coming.
It's more, sorry.
Yeah, there's 2 different quotes, but it's
Oh.
one job, it's one or the other.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one or the other,
Yeah.
it's
For him.
whether or not you want to disinfect it or not. Which he said he could do in, like, on weekends, he could come in and have it all done.
And I personally think you should go with the electrostatic.
I would agree with that based on what I know about that.
Is that a motion?
Do we know who Atlantic Chimney is?
I don't know them
I've
personally.
never heard of them.
Well, that's
I
for
reached
discussion.
out,
Oh, sorry.
I'll second. Discussion.
Okay, discussion.
Do we know who Atlantic Chimney is?
I don't.
Haley's been around forever.
I know Haley's. I've never heard of Atlantic.
And Haley's is almost twice.
Oh, And they'll have to file a certain level of insurance with us, right?
You get a 5.0 on Google.
Thank you, you beat me to it. That's my next.
Yeah, but that's how many
My
people.
glasses had a smudge.
Well,
If 5
they
people
have,
did it.
they
Yeah.
have notes, they have, I think it depends who, there's 20 reviews. And then there's 10 there, I think there's a different, so they have, for here, out of 20 people.
This impacts employees if it's not done right. So I just want to be careful of it.
But would you like to hold off?
Don't you?
No, would you like to hold off on it?
I just, well, I don't know anything about this company. I know, like you said, we know Haley's has been around a long time.
This is your
But-
realm,
Is it scheduled to be done?
It's not scheduled, no.
Yeah.
I tried to reach out to get 3 quotes, but, it was really hard to find companies that actually do junk cleaning.
Yep.
Well, they said they didn't, so, other than Haley's, he was the only one that got back to me.
Yeah. I just like, have you heard of them?
Who's been doing it? Do we know?
Nobody's done it, it's never been done.
So. It's clearly a concern.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we stick with somebody we know, they've done all the work in here?
They've never done that, obviously.
They've done all the other stuff.
We've never had it.
No,
So,
it's time to clean now.
That is company reputation, good reputation.
Where's Haley's quote?
Here,
You should have it.
Yeah, it's the
Theirs is
first
like
one.
6,000
Oh.
It's almost twice as much.
I am so sorry.
It's like double.
I just picked up
but did,
those two. I thought there was only one bidder.
you know,
Oh.
Do you have Haley's?
So Haley's is also from April, so it would probably need to be verified that they still honor
did.
that
He
price.
said it was still
Did
good.
he?
Yeah.
I would throw a little caution to the wind that we check and see who these folks are. It's a big difference in price, for sure, but
Almost double the price.
Where are they out of?
South Portland.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second, we discussed it. What would you like to do?
The motion was,
Motion was, I thought this was the only bid, so I
Yeah.
apologize for that.
so it wasn't a real.
Did you know there was another bid on the
I did.
table?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Jessica-
send it.
No, I'll let my second stand.
how do we deal with this? Do we at least put a
When
vote
we
in?
discuss it, put it to a vote.
All right. All in favor of Atlantic Chimney? I'm gonna make a call in the line, but, you know. Okay. I would go HVAC, touch base. Really good contact.
We used to be at work too. Same thing.
I'm gonna keep this. All right, moving on. Item C, electrical fee schedule. Marcel has put together a
He
fee
said
schedule.
Currently, you guys don't have a fee schedule. So he has put together one, if you guys
Correct.
approve it.
So what happens now if we don't have a fee schedule?
He's proposing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of going off of what other towns are doing. I think he took a lot from what Saco
had,
Right, I just mean, so like prior to today, like what are we, is it just like a flat fee or what?
I don't.
Similar to yours, Brenda, is that what that's,
I thought he,
So he,
I've been using a free fee schedule that he gave me.
okay,
But I think what he'd like to see is that the fee schedule get finalized and it goes on his permit.
okay.
Because.
That's right.
Right, because a contractor doesn't know, so they have to hunt him down, get a figure, get a check into.
Oh, okay, so he kind of has this, just not published.
Yeah, it hasn't been formalized.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm all for it.
and he says
Just
it'll,
trying to
it'll streamline the whole process. I
Absolutely.
remember that expression.
Yes.
Okay, is there motions on that?
I will make a motion that we accept this electrical fee schedule.
Now, second that.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Go with copier.
Darn it.
Paper effort.
Bids on, no bids, discuss next step on copy.
So,
Is this connected to the Kennebuck? Kennebuck keeps coming back.
no, this is our first attempt to get rid of the copier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No bids, discuss.
Randy
So,
said we could put up the transfer station, it wouldn't cost us anything.
Is it, they're functioning, right?
Well, we're keeping the Canon, it's the Biz Hub.
But
They're functional.
it's functioning, because a lot of times you can take those and there's certain charities that you actually get a write-off. We just had ours in Bangor, was we're getting a $6,000, it's like one of those. We don't wanna haul it back, so we found it's a charity that helps women get on their feet, and there was another program, but they're giving us a slip to be able to write it off. Very, very nice tax deduction.
so,
How does that work
How
for
does that work
municipal
for
though?
the town?
You should be able to get a tax deduction, I would imagine.
Do we care?
Massachusetts hasn't done it. But if you're donating it to a place that can, there's shelters that take those things, that they need it for people, getting people on their feet. There are community services like that.
But we don't. I guess I don't know how that works for municipality.
I don't know what, maybe Jeanette would
file
know.
taxes.
Can't you,
But either way, we could donate it to.
you could
To
donate it
someone.
to, versus
So-
it sitting here getting scrapped, you could, they'll come haul it off and everything.
Could I
Right now, it's in with the TVs, and we'll have to pay to get rid of it.
So versus donate it.
Right.
We'd be better off putting it in the dumpster and getting scrap weight for it. At least we get money for it, instead of paying to get rid of it.
Yes.
Yeah. But just,
I feel if we don't get rid of it, we're gonna pay to get rid of it.
Library doesn't need a copier?
Randy,
There's a reason why we're getting rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of.
it's an old copier, yeah.
It's only a copy of-
I think we can
Um,
donate it somewhere, donate it, walk away.
All the, when I talked to budget, they wouldn't do a contract service agreement because it's obsolete, so I mean, we wouldn't even be able to find parts for it to broke or,
Michelle, do you have the contact info for that organization that might want?
That was in Bangor, but I do know some places down here, I mean, even some of your food shelters take, some of your shelters take those things that they need them for their workings, so there are, there's a few programs down here I can think of, I can make a few phone calls. If you want me to, or Lindsay can, I can send them to you,
Sure.
but there are
Just
places
assume
that
Oh,
not
take
pay to
those.
get rid of it if we don't have to, but.
No, at least they would go be used somewhere still, of use, instead of landfill. And whether you can write it off or not, that's,
Well,
I don't know, town municipalities.
We just want it to go.
Yeah, but and a lot of people are like, they're so grateful, they're like, oh my gosh, just we know someone that use this, because they're just helping people get on their feet.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, we're moving on to holiday closure options. I'm kind of guessing this is where we're going. With the handwriting on there, is this a, yeah, okay. That,
Was this a proposal?
Yeah, she just wants to know, what do you guys wanna do? There's transfer station and then there's town. I can't remember
Always
what she
follow the
wrote.
police vacation.
So Friday, like before, the Christmas holiday and the New Year holiday, do we wanna do a half day at the town hall? And then transfer station, she recommended, I think, half day. Because,
Well, the transfer station's closed Friday anyway,
yeah,
this Saturday,
so what would you close a half a day on
Saturday,
Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve.
Typically,
yeah, it's Christmas Eve and then the New Year's Eve. is-
right, so typically if Christmas Eve was on in here on a work day, aren't they closed Christmas Eve?
No, I think it's,
Just half day.
what it's saying is transfer station Saturday, half day 12:24. Saturday, half day 12:31 is what they're referring to on the transfer station.
you're saying it should just be closed.
I don't know.
No. He thought it was on a Friday.
No,
No, I didn't know it was on, I didn't say it was on a Friday, I'm just saying if it was on a work day, that it would normally be closed. I thought town hall is typically closed Christmas Eve, is that not true?
It says also one half day before Christmas and one half day before New Year's Day.
If the holiday falls on Tuesday through Friday,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
Right, on a normal work day.
right. So
Doesn't, right?
the transfer station's open Saturday and Sunday, which, Christmas Eve is Saturday and then it's, Christmas Day is Sunday. So she also put, do you wanna close on Sunday, for Christmas Day and New Year's Day? And then do a half day, the day before for the transfer station. And then for the town hall, we would typically take the Monday after off, so it would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. She's just asking, would you want to close, a half day Friday or leave it open till 4?
Transfer station being closed on both those Sundays, I would imagine we'd have to be open on Saturday. Your thoughts, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, half a day on Saturday, is that enough?
Half day Saturday?
Half a day Saturday, that way at least people can go spend time with their family, got time to travel.
Employees.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
talking employees.
right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if I gotta go to care, it'd be nice to get there before daylight the next day.
Well, you're not, so don't worry.
I could.
so what about the town hall?
Take over.
I think we agreed that transfer station has to be open at least those half days. What about the town hall itself? Well, yeah, Christmas is the 25th, Sunday.
Transfer to- no.
We're open Monday?
Well, we're typically closed Monday, so when like Christmas falls on
We
like
acknowledge
Sunday,
it on
we
Monday.
take the following Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no input from other employees, I
My
don't
God,
know,
it's full day on Friday if they have Monday off.
that person-
I think the policy is pretty clear. That's my only.
What did,
One half day before Christmas, one half day before New Year's Day, if the holiday falls on Tuesday through Friday. And it doesn't, right?
right? So, and what you're saying is
I'm reading the policy.
we shouldn't do anything then for town hall. Because they'd be open on Monday and they'd be open on
Calendar
Friday.
here to look at things.
The one thing about the way the holiday falls unfortunately this year is that Tuesday being a half a day open up there, they will be inundated with Christmas stuff for just a half a day. They will be swamped.
We just need to do on that
Right.
Tuesday right now.
Huh?
We'll take that.
What are your thoughts?
Should,
Right.
almost should
I'm
stay
just
open all
reading
day
this, and
Tuesday.
by this, it's Monday, it's
They gotta have
Christmas.
half a day on Saturday.
So they'd have Monday off.
Right. And so they'd have Monday the 2nd as well for New Year's Day.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you can leave town hall hours, as they are.
Hmm.
It's just a question if you wanted to do that. Transfer station probably, a bigger deal to
Yeah.
to figure out.
known people.
That's the motion.
My only concern with that is the people that need to come and do business here, they're too short weeks anyway. So they're always messy weeks. So if you need to get something, whether it's be something registered, whatever it may be, that's my only concern. I mean, I'd love to give them the time off in a heartbeat.
Well, what about looking at a staggered schedule of some people work Christmas, some people work, you know, skeleton crew, but the, you know, I don't, and then make it up on the other end, I don't know. Everybody's worked hard.
Right, I mean, the time off would be well warranted, I think.
Yep.
It's just what happens to the business. Do we have to discuss, do we have to know this now?
I mean, I think for the transfer station, I would want to post something so that people aren't upset that it's last minute.
I think the transfer station we can move forward
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
you
the
know,
town
maybe we
hall-
should get some input with the employees.
Yeah, and I can't recall, who's got time off that week. Some people might have already put in
There's, yeah,
some time off.
you have to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Who's requesting time off and.
All right, so let's do Saturday for transfer. We can do a motion on that, get that done with, and we can solve this
Yeah.
next meeting.
So I'll make a motion that transfer station have half-day hours on 12/24 and 12/31.
Do you want to close Sunday?
Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas Day,
Close
oh, yeah.
Sunday and,
Yeah,
I'll second that motion for the
Okay.
transfer station.
Any discussion on that? All in favor? All right, so we got that down.
Half a day each week?
yeah.
Half day Saturday, Sunday, Saturdays, close Sundays.
but I think as we talk about this, I want to be fair to the people at town hall about giving them 4 hours somewhere.
Yeah, we should look at the big picture on it.
So we can table it. Right?
The town hall?
Yeah.
Yes, table that. Please.
Okay, item F, Leo Thibodeau, ordinance review committee, verbal resignation. Guess we just need to accept that.
Make a motion we accept.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Oh, wait, sorry, discussion. How do we know he verbally resigned?
I know we spoke with Brenda.
Okay, perfect, okay, I'm good then. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure it was somebody, like, not just,
I heard.
I heard it, right? I saw it on Facebook. Okay, I'm good now, sorry.
Let's go into G.
Wait,
Sorry, can we vote
Oh,
that?
we-
Sorry,
I thought we did,
I
sorry.
you all raised your
Yep.
hand, I went, wait.
Yep.
Sorry.
Did it again.
I do it every meeting.
But it was, but you were
I have
close.
to I gotta do it at least once a
All in
meeting.
favor?
There we go.
Leo,
Thanks.
go bye-bye.
I'm consistent.
All right, so this kind of comes,
we actually have two, Matt expressed an interest in it, but also Peggy McDonald expressed an interest. This goes back to the conversation.
Is
we had.
Matt a voting member? Or is he there as
He is, yes.
safety? He's there as a voting member. And how many's on the committee now? 5?
is
4.
4.
No, that's
That's a
fine.
liaison.
Well, there's 4 without Matt.
So we're looking to, we're looking to replace one.
Can I just inject again?
Sure.
5 people, this committee has a ton of work with the state of Maine LD 2003 and the ordinance that has the discrepancies. And I would really like to see 7 people because I think that they could form subcommittees, give each committee a subject to research and deliberate, bring back recommendations, and I think things would go faster that way, instead of getting hung up. And with 5 people, if one person's missing, it just really,
So. do
Yeah.
we need
There's a
to
lot of
run this
work.
Back up to everybody?
So, does this need to go to a vote to the ORC for the 7th person, or?
No, it's this one.
It's our,
We-
it's our,
we checked
It's your discretion.
The charter left it open.
yeah.
It was checks out boards.
And like Tom said earlier, I think we had said, as long as it's an odd number,
Right.
5 or 7.
And I think if you put Matt and Peggy on it, that gives you 6, you still got an opening. Morris had mentioned a couple of people. I just really think they could do their work better with 7.
I think you're right.
Well, there.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to bump the number from 5 to 7 on the ordinance review committee.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
And I'll also
Thank
make
you,
a,
Brenda.
I'll also make a motion to accept Matt Duras as a voting member of the ordinance review committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I'll make a motion to appoint Brenda, ordinance review committee liaison, non-voting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I might as well continue with appointing Amber Sweat, Eco Maine rep.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
And appoint Peggy McDonald, ordinance review committee.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I keep thinking I'm doing it wrong when you pause.
Sorry, I'm just working.
Yep.
All in favor?
And so that brings us to 6 on ordinance review, is that correct? And then, to the point earlier, Lindsay, could we put that out somehow?
Do you have the names from Morris,
No,
those 2 people?
do you want me to contact them directly? I don't have any.
I will, I'll contact them.
Okay.
Haven't filled out
Thanks,
George
Morris.
Genie and Trish Hussey.
All right, next is a CMP pole permit, corner of Old Kennebunk Road and Old North Berwick Road.
Does it say what it's for?
Overhead.
For future operations,
That corner lot.
By John DeShane.
What's that?
I think built the house on that corner lot.
No, across the, street.
Where
across
they
the
cleared,
street,
where they cleared that,
across the street there is,
yeah,
but not on that side of the road.
oh, that's like.
No.
Okay.
Well,
If I'm reading this right, it's a new stub pole needed to hold up line extension for Jody Pierce.
Oh, it's a push pole,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
yep. Yep,
oh, push pole.
it's all good. It's probably already done. huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're probably- only when you don't want them.
So we need a motion to approve that.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll make a motion that we approve the CMP pole permit.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
And we'll let you-
Anybody else get anything?
Other, I don't even have another
sign.
sign. We got a sign, yes.
The only other thing that I wanted to bring up while we're all together is picking out dates for budget conversations to start. I think
Yes.
we're due to be doing that. We're starting those.
I mentioned that to Jeanette today when I was talking to her. Thought we were gonna hear about that tonight, but I guess not. Yeah, we should start.
I just want to get that scheduled so it's in my life.
ARPA's hoping to have a decision to the select board by December. I said ARPA hopefully will have a decision to
Oh.
the select board by the beginning of December. Hopefully we can draft that date out.
Awesome.
And then you can choose where you want it to go.
We said we were gonna send that to you. That doesn't look like the original.
So we're not doing Haley's.
What,
We got.
that's in your court.
Turn this way. So we don't do Haley's because we went with the other one. And where were we doing? We did do this.
Do we all have to sign this one?
I just have to do this one.
It's just that one. That's what you sent me.
Yep.
Are you done? Can you sign? Don't mix them up, please. Thank you. Was that it? He didn't have any more here, did he?
No, I'm aware of. I think it was just stuff he had to sign. For my like 2-minute commute home.
Yeah.
What happened to the beast tonight?
What's that?
What happened to the purple beast?
Nice car, never gas.
Oh my god, my kids know your truck now.
Everybody.
So they say, you saw Rusty today in soccer, Mama. I'm like, oh, you saw him? Like, you talked to him? No, we saw him drive by.
He's trying, yeah.
You're known.
Like,
We're now
motion to
back.
adjourn?
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Oh, I wanted to discuss it.
Oh, yeah, it's all right. I pass kids all the time. So
Oh, I
I never
bet.
know.
I bet.
I'm either ref or coach.
Yeah. Hey, coach. Smile at that.
Like, I don't know who you are, but.
I know, we had basketball evaluations this weekend, and I was like, why are they putting a number on me? I was like, because there's no way anyone can remember all these kids' names. And I'm like, chill.
You know, like I do.
We're an hour now.
My concern.
Yes.